Hi everyone and welcome to Geometry Lesson 3.2. So in this lesson we are going to continue looking at parallel lines and transversals and the angles that they make and figure out what happens when we actually have parallel lines with a transversal. So if two lines are parallel and they're cut by a transversal, so basically you have two parallel lines like this. Remember the symbol for parallel is like this. And they're cut by a transversal, right? You know, they make their angles alternate interior, corresponding, all those different ones. It's special when they're parallel. So the key word here is going to be parallel, okay? Parallel. That's the important part. Now, if each pair of corresponding angles, okay, is going to be congruent if they're parallel. If they're parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. If they're parallel, alternate exterior angles are congruent. If they're parallel, consecutive interior angles are what's called supplementary. So notice that this one is different, right? Put a star next to that one. That one is different. And recall, vertical angles are always congruent. So vertical angles, in this case, right? Those would be these angles here, or those angles there. Those are always congruent. And a linear pair are always supplementary. So when you have this, these two angles here, they equal 180. So remember that this equals 180 degrees. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill in our angles here. We're not even going to worry about filling in what's going on in this chart. But it tells me that angle 1 is 65 degrees. So if angle 1 is 65 degrees. Aren't these a linear pair? And they equal 180. So that means if angle 1 is 65, angle 2 must be 115. Now, aren't these a linear pair? And don't they have to equal 180? So they do. So that means that this is 65. And notice that 1 and 3 are vertical angles, so they're exactly the same. And these two are a linear pair, and these two are a linear pair, and these are vertical angles. So this is also going to be 115. All right? So now that we know that these angles can only be one number, one of two numbers. All right, now what happens is since they're parallel, these angles down here, 5, 6, 7, 8, also correspond because 1 and 5 are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are always going to be congruent, which makes this one 115 because it's a linear pair, 5 and 8. 115 because 6 and 8 are vertical, right? Or 5 and 6 are a linear pair, and this will be 65. So do you see how you don't have many options here when you fill this out? There are only two numbers when these lines are parallel. So must be parallel lines. So then we can go ahead and fill this in. We have 115. We have 65. We have 115. 65. 115. 65 and 115. Do you see a pattern here? So now, it wants you to find the measure of each missing angle and give your reasoning. Well, basically, angle 2, well, that's a linear pair. You know what, we're going to... So LP is linear pair. Same side interior. Consecutive interior. Consecutive interior, same side, excuse me. Alternate interior. And alternate exterior. Interior, exterior. All right? So basically, we know that angle 2, that is a linear pair with angle 1. right? And they're supplementary. Angle 3, well, we know angle 3 is, well, that's vertical with angle 1. And they're congruent. We're going to use the congruent symbol, which is this. Angle 4, well, we can say angle 4 is vertical with angle 2, and they're congruent. Angle 5, well, that's a corresponding angle with angle 1, and they're congruent. Angle 6, well, that's a linear pair with angle 5, and they're supplementary. Angle 7, that is a vertical angle with angle 5, and they're congruent. And you could say angle 8, we can make it easy and say that's vertical with angle 6, and they are congruent. Okay, and then example 2, we'll try in class. All right, so example 3. We have 3 parallel lines cut by the same transversal. So it all works the same way. Because they're on the same transversal, they're going to have these different relationships. So it says that angle 5 is 82. So let's fill in all of these angles first. This one is 82. Well, I know that angle 8 is 82 because they are vertical. Angle 2 and 8 are linear pairs, so they're supplementary. So this would give me 98 because they have to equal 180, and that makes this 98. Now, I see that 2 and 1, when I'm not even looking at this right now. 2 and 1, there are corresponding angles. They're both in the top left, so they're going to be congruent. And this will be 98 because that one is congruent to number 11 or vertical to number 1. And then 7 is going to be 82 because 7 and 8 are corresponding. But 7 and 2 are same side interior and they're supplementary. Or 7 and 10 are linear pairs and they're supplementary. And this is going to be 82 for all the same reasons. When I come over here, I notice that 3 and 2, right? Those ones are corresponding angles, both on the top left, or 8 and 3 together are same side interior or consecutive interior, and they are supplementary. This is vertical to number 3. And you see this pattern that's going on right here? This will be 82, and this will be 82. So we found the measure of all of our angles. 98, 98, 98, 82, 82, 7, 82, 8, 82, 9, then we have 98. And remember the degree symbol, okay? The degree symbol is important. All right, so those are all those angles. All right, number 4 we're going to do in class. All right. Actually, you know what? I think number 4 we'll do, and number 5 we'll do in class. So on number 4, it tells me that angle 12 is 121. And angle 6 is 75. We have to find the measures of all the other angles. Well, this one will be 121 because they are vertical. 11, that'll be 59 because 11 and 12 have to be 180. And this will be 59 degrees, okay? Now, these are my parallel lines, okay? This right here is my transversal. All right? Now, if I think about it, right, in my transversal, I'm going to redraw these just for illustration purposes. I'm just dealing with this, where I have 121, 59, all degrees, 59, and 121. All right? Now, right here, I'm getting rid of this line. I don't care about this line right here. That doesn't exist. All right? So now, this right here, angle 4, that's this one. right? Angle 4 and angle 7, they equal 180, or it's also 59 because it's corresponding to angle 11. Now, if you notice, angle 3, which is right here, those are vertical angles, so this will be 59 degrees. Now, this angle here, right, that's going to be 121 because that's corresponding. But what's happening here is that this whole angle has to be 121, but do we see how there's already a 75? This is angle 5 and 6 put together. This angle right here. So, because this whole thing is 121, I have to take 121 minus 75. So that gives me 46 degrees for angle 5. And then this one is 121. Now, when I look a little closer here, I notice that this one and this one are vertical angles. So that would make this one 75. And I notice that this one and this one are vertical angles. So that'll make this 46. All right, so we got some more information. So now, how do we tackle 9, 10, and 11? Well, for 9, 10, and 11, the way I'm going to look at it is I draw my lines, and I draw this line, right? This one right here. And I have 13, 14, 9, and 10. And then up here, I have angle 6, right, which is 75. I have this one, which is 46. Then I have this whole angle right here. 2 and 3 together is that angle. All right? So that's our 121. No, is that 121? That is 90, 105. Right? Because if this is 75, this has to be 105 because it equals 180. And then this one here is going to be 75. All right? So now how do I do this? Well, 75, that's corresponding to 14, so that's 75. 105 is right there. This is 75 because they're vertical angles, and this one is 105. So if I fill it in, this is 105, 75, 105, 75. And now we've gone ahead and we've filled in all of our angles. Right, so now that I have that, I know that angle 1, 75. Angle 2, 46. Angle 3, 59. Angle 4, that's also going to be 59 because these are vertical angles. Angle 5 is 46. Angle 7, 121. Angle 8, 59. Angle 9, 75. Angle 10, 105. 11 is going to be 59. 13, 105. And 14, 75. All right, so number 5, I will let you guys, we'll do that in class together. All right, number 6 is a little tougher. Number 6, we just kind of have to identify what's going on here. It says that angle 2 is 41. So this one here, 41 degrees. Angle 5 is 94. And angle 10 is 109. All right, so let's figure out what's going on here. I know that these two here, those are a linear pair, so they have to equal 180. Right, so that'll give me 86 right there. Now, when I look at stuff, I see that I have two parallel lines, one that goes this way and one that goes that way. And I see I have a transversal, right? If you think about it, right, this right here, that's a transversal. we also have another transversal over here. It just goes on and on, right? So now, when I look at this one, that's this one here. So that gives me a 9, a 3, a 2, and technically an 8. Right now, I know that angle 2 is 41. Angle 9 is alternate interior, so that'll be 41. So this will be 41 degrees. All right? So in addition, one thing I know is that these right here, these three angles, they have to equal 180 because they're on a straight line. And I see I have 109 plus 41. So that gives me 150. So that tells me that this angle 8 is 30 degrees. Right? So we're making some progress. Another little fact that I can see here is that this shape right here is a triangle. And a triangle is 180 degrees. And I see that I have a 30 and a 41, which gives me a 71. And I know if it's supposed to be 180 and I take away 71, this will be 109. Okay, which is also corresponding to this angle. If this is 109, angle 6 has to be 71 because they're a linear pair. And I can see that, what else do we got going on? I know that this angle here, 2 and 3, has to be 94 because it is a corresponding angle to this one. So I have 41, so 94 minus 41, right? So that gives me 53 for angle 3. And then angle 1, all three of these have to be 180. So I know these are 94, 2 and 3. So I do 180 minus 94. Right? And that gives me 86. So angle 1 is 86 degrees. So we solved for all our angles. It did take some work. So I have 86, 53, 86, 71, 109, 30, and 41. All right, so now we can use this for some algebra. Now, in the algebra portion, right, we're just going to use these properties to solve for some bigger problems. So when I look at number 1, I see that these are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles, they are congruent. So that just means that 58 and 5x minus 2 are equal. So 58 equals 5x minus 2. Then I just solve it like normal algebra. I divide by 5, giving me x equals 12, right? If I look at number 2, these are alternate exterior angles, and they're also congruent. 16x, right, these are congruent. Plus 22 equals 134. Same deal, minus 22, 16x equals 112. And when I divide by 16, that is 7. So x is 7. All right, when I go to number 3, these ones are alternate interior, right? And I'll let you guys work on those. Number 4, those ones are same side interior, so they're a little different. Those are those consecutive interior. So these are same side interior. Excuse the vacuuming in the background. Or consecutive interior. All right? So that means they are supplemental or equal to 180. So we have to add them together to equal 180. So 9x plus 2 plus 133 equals 180. When I combine my 9x and 133, I get 135 equals 180. When I minus 135, I get 9x equals 9x equals 45. When I divide by 9, x equals 5. All right, so number 5, those ones are alternate exterior. Right, so they're congruent. Number 6, these are corresponding angles. So they are also congruent. You know what? Let's try number 6. Number 6, even though they're congruent, we have variables on both sides. So we have this 11x minus 47 equals 6x minus 2. When I do that, if I minus my 6x from both sides, I have 5x. If I add 47 to both sides, I have 45. When I divide by 5, x equals 9. All right, number 7, they are alternate interior. Number 8, these are the same side or consecutive interior. So they equal 180. So that means 5x plus 3 plus 9x minus 33 equals 180. So that gives me 14x minus 30 equals 180 when I combine my like terms. If I add 30, that gives me 14x equals 210. When I divide by 14, I believe that's going to be 15. So x equals 15. All right, now how do we tackle 9 and 10? Well, the thing is, this one is a y, and these ones are two x's. So we can do the x's first, then solve for y. I see that my two x's are alternate interior, so they are congruent. Alternate interior are congruent. So 8x minus 31 equals 6x plus 3. So when I minus my 6x, I get 2x. When I add 31, I get 34, and I divide by 2, I get x is 17. So I got my x is 17. So that means that this is 6 times 17 plus 3. And this is 8 times 17 minus 31. I'll go with the 6 times 17. 60 and 42 is 102, so this is 105. So this angle is 105 degrees. Well, I know these are same side interior, so they equal 180. So that means 180 minus 105 gets me 75. So this has to equal 75 degrees. So I can do 5y plus 35 equals 75 degrees. When I minus 35, I get 5y equals 40, and I divide by 5, so y is equal to 8. And those are your two answers for there. And then number 10 we will handle in class. All right, so if you have any other questions, oh, I see we got more. Never mind. All right, I think we're going to stop here. All right, so don't worry about this page at all. We're going to stop at number 10. All right, so now we're going to go on to number 5. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and fill in these angles real fast. This is what we're doing in class. This one is 38 degrees. Angle 10 is 102. We need to find the measures of all the other ones. Well, we can see that this one's going to be 102 because it's vertical to number 10. Number 9 and 12 are a linear pair, so they have to equal 180. So that's what gets me those. 7 and 5, those are vertical angles, and 5 and 6 have to equal 180. So since they have to equal 180, that gives me 142, and angle 8 has to be 142 because those are vertical. Now, 10 and 14, remember those ones are going to be your corresponding angles. The only problem is that they're not on parallel lines. So we only have to look at our parallel lines. When I look at my parallel lines, I see 10 and 2 are going to be corresponding angles. So this will be 102. So we have 78. And this will be 102. And this will be 78. Same thing here, 5 and 13. Those are corresponding angles, so that would be 38. This will be 142. This will be 142. This will be 38. Then we can go ahead and we can fill them in. So we had angle 1, right? 78, 102, 78, 102. We had 38, 142, 142, 78, 78, 102. And then we had 38, 142, 38, 142. All right. Moving on, right? So I think we've covered all of these. Oh, we have to do number 2. Excuse me. All right, so on number 2, same kind of deal. It tells me that angle 6, right, is 142. So we know angle 1 is also going to be 142 because it's corresponding. All right, angle 2, that'll be 38 because because these two are a linear pair. Angle 3, that's going to be 142 because it corresponds to angle 1. Angle 4 will be 38 because 3 and 4 are a linear pair or corresponds to angle 2. Angle 5 will also be 38 because it's a vertical angle with angle 2. 7 will be also 38 because it's alternate interior to angle 2 or a vertical, a linear pair with angle 3. Then finally, angle 8 will be 142 because it's vertical to angle 3 or a linear pair with angle 7. All right, moving on to these last couple of examples. Right, we just have to solve for this one. I add 1, so 7x equals 126. So that means when we divide by 7, x should be equal to 9. If my math is somewhat... Oops, not 9. Excuse me. 14. See, I told him my math was not being that great. 126. Oh, see, I can't even do that right. It's 18. All right. I'm not using a calculator. All right, these two also equal. 8x minus 77 equals 3x plus 38. If I minus 3x, that gets me 5x. If I add 77, that'll get me 115. When I divide by 5, I get 23. These ones also equal to each other because they're alternate interior. Minus 5x. So 8x. I add 21. Gives me 96. And when I divide by 8, x is equal to 12. Then finally, number 10, we do have to do the x's first because there are only two that are alike. They are a linear pair, so they equal 180. So 29x minus 3 plus 15x plus 7 equals 180. When I subtract, I have to combine my like terms, 15 and 29. So it gets me 44x. Uh, 44x, and then negative 3 and positive 7 is a positive 4. And those equal 180. Right, now that I have that, I can minus 4. And 44x equals 176. And when I divide by 44, x equals 4. So now that I know that x is equal to 4, I can say that, let's do this one, because this one and this one are alternate exterior. So 29 times 4 minus 3. So 29 times 4 is 116 minus 3 is 113. Right, so now that I know that that is 113, I could say that 13y equals 113. 13y minus 17. So 13y minus 17 equals 113. I add 17 to both sides. 13y equals 130. 13y is equal to 10. All right, so those are our answers. If you have any other questions, let me know. We're not doing this page here.